The narrative kicks off with Bear, Michael Johnston, a meek music store employee hopelessly stuck in the friend zone with his lifelong crush and co-worker, Nikki, in Navarrete. Desperate to change his fate, he wanders into a strange New Age shop and buys a bizarre novelty item called the One Wish Willow. Back in his room, half laughing at the absurdity of it, Bear breaks the willow and wishes for Nikki to love him more than anyone else in the entire world. The cinematography here heavily relies on slow-burning, moody lighting, planting a subtle seed of dread long before the magic actually manifests. After making the wish, Bear immediately starts feeling embarrassed. He laughs at himself for believing a cheap magical trinket could actually work and tosses the broken willow aside. Later, he tells his best friend what happened, hoping for some reassurance. Instead, his friend bursts into laughter and mocks him for wasting money on something so ridiculous. Bear can't help but agree, convinced it was nothing more than a desperate mistake. Little does he know, the wish has already begun changing his life in ways he never imagined. The next day, Bear's life seems to change overnight. Nikki suddenly starts paying him more attention than ever before. She shows up at his house unexpectedly, cooks for him, and treats him like the most important person in her world. At first, Bear can't believe his luck. It feels like his impossible dream has finally come true. But the more time he spends with Nikki, the stranger things become. Her affection feels unnaturally intense, and Bear begins noticing small details that make him increasingly uncomfortable. Before long, Nikki's behavior becomes impossible to ignore. During a gathering with friends, she refuses to leave Bear's side and becomes visibly angry whenever anyone else tries to talk to him. She snaps at people without warning and acts as if Bear belongs only to her. What once felt romantic quickly turns disturbing. For the first time, Bear realizes something is terribly wrong, and the wish may have come with consequences he never expected. As the days pass, Nikki's obsession grows even worse. She constantly follows Bear wherever he goes, monitors his every move, and refuses to give him any personal space. She even watches him while he sleeps, convinced they are destined to be together forever. Bear finally understands the horrifying truth. Nikki isn't acting out of love anymore. The magical wish has completely taken away her free will, turning her into someone she was never meant to be. With nowhere else to turn, Bear calls the customer support number printed on the One Wish Willow package. Hoping someone can reverse the spell, he desperately explains everything that's happened. The representative calmly checks the company's policy before delivering the worst news imaginable. The wish cannot be undone under any circumstances. Then comes the horrifying catch: the spell will only end when Bear is no longer alive. Suddenly, escaping Nikki isn't enough. Now, his own life is at stake. Knowing the truth, Bear pretends everything is normal while secretly searching for a way out. During a quiet dinner together, Nikki senses that something has changed. With an unsettling smile, she reminds him that they are meant to stay together forever. Every word she says feels like a warning. Bear realizes she can sense his fear, and escaping her may already be impossible. Everything spirals out of control during the film's final act. Nikki's obsession reaches its breaking point as she decides that nothing will ever separate them again. Bear finds himself trapped inside his own home, desperately searching for a way to survive without hurting the woman he once loved. Every room becomes more dangerous than the last as the terrifying game of survival reaches its shocking conclusion. Everything spirals out of control during the film's final act. Nikki's obsession reaches its breaking point as she decides that nothing will ever separate them again. Bear finds himself trapped inside his own home, desperately searching for a way to survive without hurting the woman he once loved. Every room becomes more dangerous than the last as the terrifying game of survival reaches its shocking conclusion.